What is landsliding? The term landslide describes a wide variety of processes that result in the downward and outward movement of slope forming materials including rock, soil, artificial fill, or a combination of these. The materials may move by falling, toppling, sliding, spreading, or flowing. Although landslides are primarily associated with mountainous regions, they can also occur in areas of generally low relief. In low relief areas, landslides occur as cut and fill failures, roadway and building excavations, river bluff failures, lateral spreading landslides, collapse of mine waste piles, especially coal, and wide variety of slope failures associated with quarries and open pit mines. Types of landslides 1. Slide. Although many types of mass movements are included in the general terms landslide, the more restrictive use of the terms refers only to mass movements, where there is a distinct zone of weakness that separates the slide material from more stable underlying material. The two major types of slides are rotational slides and translational slides. 1. Rotational slide. This is a slide in which the surface of rupture is curved concavely upward and the slide movement is roughly rotational about an axis that is parallel to the ground surface and transverse across the slide. 2. Translational slide. In this type of slide, the landslide mass moves along the roughly planar surface with little rotation or backward tilting. Block slide. A block slide is a transitional slide in which the moving mass consists of a single unit or a few closely related units that move downslope as a relatively coherent mass. 2. Falls. Falls are abrupt movements of masses of geologic materials, such as rocks and boulders that become detached from steep slopes, or cliffs. Separation occurs along discontinuities such as fractures, joints, and bedding plans, and movement occurs by free fall, bouncing, and rolling. Falls are strongly influenced by gravity, mechanical weathering, and the presence of interstitial water. 3. Topples. Toppling failures are distinguished by forward rotation of a unit or units about some pivotal point below or low in the unit under the action of gravity and forces exerted by adjacent units or by fluids in cracks. 4. Flows. There are five basic categories of flows that differ from one another in fundamental ways. Debris flow. A debris flow is a form of rapid mass movement in which a combination of loose soil, rock, organic matter, air, and water mobilize as slurry that flows downslope. Debris flows are commonly caused by intense surface water flow due to heavy precipitation or rapid snowmelt that erodes and mobilizes loose soil or rock on steep slopes. Debris flows also commonly mobilize from other types of landslides that occur on steep slopes or nearly saturated and consist of a large proportion of silt and sand size material. Debris flow source areas are often associated with steep gullies, and debris flow deposits are usually indicated by presence of debris fans at the mouth of gullies. Fires, the denuded slopes of vegetations intensify the susceptibility of slopes to debris flow. Debris avalanche. This is a variety of very rapid to extremely rapid debris flow. Earth flow. Earth flows have a characteristic hourglass shape. The slope material liquefies and runs out, forming a bowl or depression at the head. The flow itself elongates and usually occurs in fine grained materials or clay bearing rocks on moderate slopes. and under saturated conditions. However, dry flows of granular material are also possible. Mud flow. A mud flow is an earth flow consisting of material that is wet enough to flow rapidly and that contains 50% sand, silt, and clay sized particles. Creep. Creep is imperceptibly slow, steady downward movement of slope forming soil or rock. Movement is caused by shear stress sufficient to produce permanent deformation, but too small to produce shear failure. There are generally three types of creep. 1. Seasonal, where movement is within the depth of soil affected by seasonal changes in soil moisture and soil temperature. 2. Continuous, where shear stress continuously exceeds the strength of materials. 3. Progressive, where slopes are reaching the point of failure as other types of mass movements. Creep is indicated by curved tree trunks, bent fences or retaining walls, tilted poles or fences, and small soil ripples or ridges. 5. Lateral spreads. Lateral spreads are distinctive because they usually occur on very gentle slopes or flat terrain. The dominant mode of movement is lateral extension, accompanied by shear or tensile fractures. The failure is caused by liquefaction, the process whereby saturated, loose cohesion-less sediments, usually sand and silt, are transformed from a solid into a liquefied state. Failure is usually triggered by rapid ground motion, such as that experienced during an earthquake, but can also be artificially induced when coherent material, either bedrock or soil, rests on material that liquefy. The upper units may undergo fracturing and extension and may then subside, translate, rotate, disintegrate, or liquefy and flow. Lateral spreading in fine grained materials on shallow slopes is usually progressive. The failure starts suddenly in a small area and spread rapidly. Often the initial failure is a slump, but in some materials the movement occurs for no apparent reason. Combination of two or more of the above types is known as complex landslide. Landslide causes 1. Geological causes 1. Weak or sensitive materials. 2. Weathered materials. 3. Sheared, jointed, or fissured materials. 4. Adversely oriented discontinuity. 5. Contrast in permeability and or stiffness of materials. 2. Morphological causes. 1. Tectonic or volcanic uplift. 2. Glacial rebound. 3. Fluvial wave or glacial erosion of slope, toe or lateral margins. 4. Subterranean erosion. 5. Deposition loading slope or its crest. 6. Vegetation removal. 7. Thawing. 8. Freeze and thaw weathering. 10. Shrink and swell weathering. 3. Human causes. 1. Excavation of slope or its toe. 2. Loading of slope or its crest. 3. Drawdown of reservoirs. 4. Deforestation. 5. Irrigation. 6. Mining. 7. Artificial vibration. 8. Water leakage from utilities.